traders? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's blessed. Hope everyone's had an amazing trading week. So you know what time it is. We're back with the weekly overview #2. So like I said, I'm going to be doing this every single week, hopefully, just taking you through my winning trades, losing trades, you know, showing my Telegram, showing me entering befores, afters, etc. So I'll go through some of the trades I caught this week. Probably just do EU and gold, otherwise this video will be quite long. I did catch GJ and EU, UCAD as well. But we'll just take you through EU and gold. So top down for EU, right? This was on Wednesday because I wasn't here Monday and Tuesday. I was out, so if I'm not at my setup, I don't take trades. It's one of my rules, as I'm not focused, I'm not concentrating, right? So boom, what do we see? We've been, in a downtrend, making lower lows, lower highs, right? So then we've come to this point of interest. So as we approach this point of interest, this was the last down close that caused the nice bullish high volume candle, led to the expansion to the upside, right? So as we approach that, what do we see? We see two high volume bullish candles, and now we can look for some continuation to the upside, right? So what I'm seeing here is I'm trying to locate a point of interest. So for me, as you can see, there's some 8-hour imbalance down in here, a nice down close on the 8-hour that led to price. So price could return back into here, but what I had my eye focused on the most was this reaccumulation of price. This was the last point of demand that drove price higher, right? This was the reaccumulation that led to these high volume bullish candles and ultimately this huge expansion to the upside. So yeah. So this candle in here, I identified that it hasn't been mitigated yet, right? So I was looking for price to return. I'm not just going to take entries based off the open or the 50%. I wait for price to approach the zone and show me lower time frame confirmations to take price higher in the form of schematics, different type of patterns, etc. So yeah, as we go down to the 1 minute. What do we see? We see price start to slow down as we enter the zone. We've got our divergence, RSI is moving up, price is moving down, and then we've got our schematic starting to form, right? So sellers climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, sign of strength, equal highs being formed. What I like to see, equal highs. Why? Because stop losses all above, because retail traders are looking to short as 1, 2, 3 touches of that line, right, of that resistance. So then we've got secondary test in phase B, spring, and our test. We entered off with the test. It was a 2-minute candle, I believe. Yeah, so 2-minute candle. So this last down close that mitigated the 7-minute point of interest. And then we had this nice base in here before the institutions got involved and had a high volume bullish candle, right? So this was the entry, what the entry was based off of. Price, returned, tapped into it perfectly, and then we saw a reaction. This was around 4:30, so it was quite later on in the afternoon, later on in New York session. So I had targets of 1.20500 for a nice 1 to 6. I had plenty higher time frame targets, but for me, holding a trade overnight when it looks like we're consolidating, going into the night, I wasn't really too keen on the price action I was seeing, and therefore I didn't feel comfortable holding it overnight. So I set a TP that was around 7 pips, 5 pips away from my from where price was when I went to sleep, right? So so price woke up to a night 1 to 6. That was EU. I'll show you my Telegram after of me being in the trade, etc. Moving on to gold, right? Next trade, gold. What do we see on gold? So from let's replay it. This was the trade. So I woke up around here, right? So this area here, so price is already played out. We've already made our lower low, our lower high, lower low, higher low, and then made a higher high. So we've now broke this structure point in here, so we're looking at buys. All of this price in here has already been mitigated, right? There's no reason for price to come back down into any of these candles, any of this, whatever's in there. There's no need for price to come back down. If it is, it's probably going to go for these lows, right? Because all of this is clean price action. The only price action that isn't clean and that has left imbalance in institutional candles that have not been mitigated is this in here. So going down to a 5 minute, what do we see? Nice down close, mitigated this previous 5-minute candle before the upwards move, making the higher high, and ultimately 2 minute as well. 2 minute rally based rally. and a 1 minute. So that was a nice point of demand for me to look for, continuations to the upside. As we approach that area, price diverged on the 1 minute, so that's added confluence. We've got our trend line, retail trend line, so that's our target. We're targeting retail stop losses, and boom, as you see, we identified our 2 minute candle. This was the rally base rally, the last institutional candle where a decision was made that has not yet been mitigated, right? All of this in here has already been mitigated. That's why our stops was just beneath this wick, right? There was no reason for price to return into this price action at all, so there's no reason for me to set my stop losses down in there, right? So yeah, stop losses were just beneath the low, and then we was entering off of 50% of this last down close candle before some nice high volume 5 minute candles. Yeah, so price wicked it perfectly, and then we flew about, how many pips was that? Flew about 100 pips, 83 pips. What nice 1 to 12, and then I closed out 3% of my positions and left the rest to run. As you can tell, we returned back and it stopped me out at break even. So yeah, nice 3% on that trade. Right, so going through gold, right, I missed 2 trades on this as well. So finally, we've come down and we took these previous monthly lows, right? This previous low from all the way back in November. So now we've broke these lows, we can expect a retracement back into this imbalance or up in here to continue shorting, right? Or eventually, possibly even continue the weekly narrative of bullish, right? Taking these relatively equal highs and possibly making all-time highs, right? So at the moment, what I'm seeing is we always like to look to buy beneath lows and sell above highs, right? That's just always our target. That's what we like to look for in higher time frames, right? So now we've seen that confluence, we are looking to rebalance the market. What do we see? We see our preliminary supply, seller's climax, secondary test, and phase B / spring, and then we see the structure in here, right? So this was the lower low. This was the last high that made the lower low, and we have now officially broke that that structure in here, right? So we're looking for buyers. All of this price in here has already been mitigated, so we don't need to look down in there. The last candle, the last point of interest that hasn't been mitigated is this in here. This last 5 minute / 2 minute, 2 minute was the candle that swept previous candles liquidity, mitigated this candle in here, and drove price higher, making the new higher, right? So that's what we are looking for ultimately. We had our entry pocket, New York session, don't trade at like 12, 11, whenever it was, right? So we could miss that by that 9 pips. However, it offered re-entries, so that's what I was looking for. I was looking for price to give us some sort of re-entries. We formed some nice head and shoulders, this nice resistance up in here that price retail traders would have been shorting from, right? Probably stopped above this high in here, anywhere could have been shorting, in and around this area, right? They see a nice strong level of resistance. They're like, okay, let's short from here. So we're targeting their liquidity, we're targeting their stop losses, aligned with the institutions, right? So as you can see, we have our nice 5 minute down close and mitigate this 50% of this 5 minute, and that is my target, right? We had nice 2 high volume bullish candles, respecting the trend line once again, introducing more sellers into the market. And as this trade is still valid, as the liquidity is still intact, and boom, we come down, wicked and missed it by about 12, 11 pips. So yeah, we missed both trades. It rallied then about 200 pips, if I'm right, to the upside. Yeah, about 200 pips. So yeah, we missed out on that one. If it doesn't matter, I'm looking to take this higher anyway to 1805 at least, right? 1900 is my target, 1950, right? So by no means am I a financial advisor. I'm not saying price has to get there. Price does whatever it wants. It's just my analysis. But yeah, for now, I'll just be looking going into next week for reaccumulations to take this higher, etc. But yeah, so that's what I've got for gold, and yeah, I might as well take you through my last trade of the week. Actually, let me go back a bit more, back to when price action was clean. Alright, so what do we see? 15 minute, we start to see signs of distribution, right? We've marked out our trading range. We've got bias, climax, automatic reaction, secondary test, sign of weakness, up thrust. I was looking for lower time frame up thrust price action to fill in around 50% of the trading range, maybe to go for a UTAD or break structure, right? So that's what I was looking for. So scaling down on a 1 minute, what do I see? I see this nice price action, right? I see 3 drives higher, which we like to see. I see nice steep divergence on the RSI, and we've got some liquidity in here, and mainly this huge support level in here that people will buy off of, right? So retail traders, what they like to do, as we all know, I've mentioned multiple times, that they sell off of resistance, buy for support, right? So boom, as we can see, 1 2 3 4, like multiple touches in there, and therefore it's a valid support for me to target, right? Aligned with the institution. So I entered off of 50% of this 2 minute in here, I believe it was, yeah, at a nice whole level. We like to take our positions off of 75 and 25s as our nice psychological levels, and that price sees reaction off of normally. And as you can see, we wicked in perfectly, saw some nice reaction again, inducing more buyers, came back up, nearly stopped me out. My stops were above a 1 minute wick up in here. I saw no reason price needed to go higher, luckily, because we nearly got stopped out there. But then we rolled over, right? I was expecting this to happen. Let me go down to 15. Yeah, price started to roll over. At this point, it was 1 to 5, so I took some partials off the table, because GJ's price action just hasn't been nice at the moment. So took some partials, and as you can see, the whole night we just ranged. Whole night we ranged. Let me just take this off. Up in here was when I sent out to my Telegram, look, we're finally moving, targets 147 still, and boom, price, what did it do? Wicked all the way back up to entry. So at this point I was like, I'm out of this trade. GJ is playing games, don't want to be in this. It's just horrible price action. So yeah, so that was GJ, and we had a nice UCAD trade as well that went into a 1 to 7. I didn't take any partials, and it came back, stopped me out at break even. So for the purpose of keeping this video short, I will not be taking you through that trade. But yeah, they were my 4 main trades. I'll take you through my Telegram quick. This was the UCAD trade, flew up to a 1 to 7. As you can see, this is a glimpse of what I saw, a nice schematic. This was the GJ trade after it melted into a 1 to 5. This was the gold re-entry that I missed. This was the befores on GJ. This was my gold trade. It's me actually in at 1 to 12 when we reacted. Some of the before screenshots, and finally EU. There we go, EU at the start of the week, right? So they were all my trades for this week so far, and yeah, I'll be updating you guys next week for another weekly review on the trades I'll take next week. It is my birthday weekend, so I doubt I'll be trading Monday, because it's my birthday on Sunday. So yeah, so just make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to my Telegram. I dropped some free value in there. There is, I sometimes send out free signals for you guys to possibly capitalize on. Also drop me a follow on Insta as well, because I do post stuff on Insta as well. So yeah,